Ah, what a good day for a paddle.
Hi, I'm Ethan. I'm a certified paddleboard instructor and a lover of all things SUP. Whether I'm going out for an adventure or giving a tutorial, my desire is to help you in your SUP journey. So, enjoy the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and join the community.
All right, all jokes aside, a really common question for a lot of beginner paddleboarders is what should they take with them when they go for a paddle on the water? And this is a really hard question to answer because there's not really a one-size-fits-all. It really depends on things like conditions on the water, it depends on local laws, it depends on your skill set, and there's a lot of variables that depend on what you should actually take with you for a paddle on the water. But to help you still have an idea of what type of gear you may need, I'm going to share with you what I take with myself on an average everyday paddle. So let's get started. So to start things off, let's talk about which board I'll be using the most for my everyday paddles, and that is the Starboard All-Star Inflatable 14x26 model. Now, even though this board is designed more for racing, I find it a great board use even for my everyday usage. It has a super nice glide through the water. The nose cone on the front helps it cut through choppy conditions. The cargo straps are super convenient to use for storing things onto. The side rails are super nice also for my feet to brace against for choppy conditions. And overall, I just love using this board for all kinds of conditions. Now, obviously, this is not the board suited for everybody, but for myself, I love using it every single day. Now, the next piece of gear that I use every single day is obviously a paddle. And this one is designed by Black Project SUP. This is not the exact paddle that I use for going every single day, but it's the exact same size and shape. This one just has a lower percentage of carbon fiber in it, so the one that I use is a higher percentage, which makes it lighter and higher performing. I love these adjustable paddles by Black Project SUP because they actually have an anti-twist design, so every time you're lowering and raising your paddle, you don't have to worry about your handle getting twisted at all in the paddle shaft. So it's super convenient and I love having that feature. I use adjustable paddle quite a bit because it allows me to adjust the height of the paddle for different conditions on the water. And also when I'm teaching classes, it allows me to show people how to adjust the paddle to the correct height. Now obviously you can use a paddle with a fixed height as well, but just for myself and the variety of conditions that I'm paddling in, I tend to use adjustable paddle more often. Now this brings me on to the most important piece of equipment that I bring with me on every single paddle, and that is a leash. I use a core leash because in the conditions that I'm paddling in are not in surf conditions, I'm not in any kind of waves, I'm not going in any kind of river conditions. And so I always use a core leash because it allows it to stay on top of my board, out of the water, keeps it from getting snagged on things on the beach, and overall is a much safer type of leash for me to use. Now I've talked about different types of leashes in one of my reels, and so if you're interested in learning more about which type of leash is best for you, go check out that reel on my channel. All right, moving on to a neck buff or a sun protective scarf. I use this quite a bit when I'm paddling on the water as it allows me to simply pull it over my head and it helps protect my neck and even my face from the damaging sun rays off the water. Ultimately, this allows me to use less sunscreen, which is better for my body and for the environment. The next piece of gear I take with me on all my paddles are a pair of sunglasses. Now, if you are going to wear sunglasses on the water and you're new to stand-up paddleboarding, I definitely recommend you wear a flotation strap for your glasses so that you don't lose them when you fall into the water. I myself have unfortunately lost several pairs of sunglasses to the water, and so learn from my mistakes when you first start paddleboarding to use a flotation strap for your sunglasses or don't wear them at all. Now when I'm going for shorter paddles, which is basically less than an hour long or with a group of people, I typically don't bring a lot of gear with me. So because of that, I only usually bring a Fanny Pack around my waist, which allows me to put things like my phone, wallet, and keys into and take it with me in for a paddle. Now this Fanny Pack is not waterproof, and so if you fall in the water, your things will get a little wet. So if you're still falling quite a bit, definitely wear a Fanny Pack that is waterproof, or use a dry bag in the front of your paddleboard, which works just as well. But simply for the convenient side of things and for my shorter paddles, I always use a Fanny Pack. All right, now let's talk about the two apps that I use for every single paddle as well. The first one is called Paddle Logger. And this works really well with my smart Apple Watch as I'm able to record all my paddles on the water for distances, how many calories burned, and all things like that. And the last app that I use is simply for safety purposes, and that is actually just WhatsApp. I use WhatsApp to share my live location with people like my wife so that they can know where I'm at all times on the water. Now I could use my Paddle Logger app as well and simply pay for the upgrade version to share my live location as well, but WhatsApp's free and it does exactly the same thing, so I just use WhatsApp. So that's it for today's video. Those are just a few simple pieces of equipment that I use with me on my everyday shorter paddles on the water. And if there are other pieces of gear that you'd love to take with you for your paddles on the water, please share it down in the comments down below, as I would love to hear about it and maybe get some ideas what I should take with me for myself on the paddle as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out the channel for more content and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next one. Hasta luego, amigos.